Well, we are in that bridge right in between free agency and the NFL draft, and now it's time to really start breaking down some draft prospects. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the wide receiver position. I'm going to talk about 15 receivers that I believe to be the best of the best in this class. We'll look at their pros, their cons, what they bring to the table. Plus, we got some 3 and out to do. We got Jets trivia. We're going to spin the wheel tonight. Whole lot of stuff coming up, but you know what's up. It's Wednesday night. It's 6 p.m., and we are live. Welcome everybody to New York Sports WickerMedia. I am your party host, Watu-K99. Thank you for taking the time to join me, as always, for this weekly Wednesday night extravaganza. And it is, well, you start to feel a little bit of warmth in the air. You know, you can start to put on some short sleeves when you go outside. It means the rebirth of new seasons and new sports as well. And we're going to get into all of that right now. Talk about what's on my mind, first of all, in what we like to call 3 and out. First of all, quick hello to everybody joining us here in the chat. Feel free to leave a comment. You got any thoughts? Do you have any questions? Just need to vent about anything in particular? This is a safe space. You're more than welcome to do so. So I got a couple of things that I want to talk about here as we let's get the graphic back up. There we go. Well, it is Major League Baseball time. The real season starts on Thursday and less than 24 hours away. Let's get going. I have already uploaded my preview show, about a 30-minute watch. I gave my previews for all 30 teams, season-ending awards, who I believe is going to win the World Series. Check that out if you like. But I'm going to be up at 3 a.m. on Thursday to catch a plane to Dallas to connect to Houston because I am going to see Mets Astros in Daikin Park. That name is so bad it makes Enron Field actually sound decent. Oh my gosh. But it'll be my first time down in H-Town. The food joints are planned out. There will be a lot of barbecue, a lot of tacos being taken down, and I will try to film a little bit of stuff up there, and we shall see how it goes. But I am super excited about that. I got to move on. Number 2, the New York Giants. Can somebody please tell me what exactly they're doing at the quarterback position? Now, this is a franchise that is stuck in absolute limbo right now. You've got a head coach and you got a general manager who know that they need to win. Okay, if they don't this year, they're probably both gone. But this roster is towards the bottom of the NFL. They're in a brutally hard division. They are putting a few pieces together. But you have the number 3 pick. I always felt it would make sense for the Giants to draft a quarterback. Signing Aaron Rodgers and drafting a quarterback made sense. It didn't happen. They signed Jameis Winston. And I was like, okay, they signed him for 2 years as their veteran bridge until the young guy is ready to go. I got it. So I figured Winston plus either Ward or Sanders would make sense. Then the Giants signed Russell Wilson, a 1-year deal, $10.5 million guaranteed, worth up to $21 million. So Wilson returns to the stadium where he won his only Super Bowl. So now you got to wonder. The Giants basically have 2 veterans who are pretty much, I don't want to say on their last legs, but you have like back level, lower level quarterbacks at this point, plus Tommy DeVito. So what are they going to do now? I mean, I just don't know what they could do to win, with Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston as quarterback. Russell Wilson is way past his prime. He's 37 years old. Jameis Winston, hey, he's exciting. He'll throw 3 touchdowns, but he'll throw 3 interceptions. Plus, they're doing this with a very shaky offensive line. You have 1 decent running back, a very good wide receiver, if he can manage to keep his head screwed on straight. But if you're a Giants fan, how much hope do you really have? Yeah, they might win 6 games next year, maybe. but that won't be enough. The GM and coach will go. Then you have a new administration coming in. They'll want their own quarterback. New York football is just a mess right now. Just a mess. And number 3, I got to say something about the NCAA tournament. Now, I don't think it's been overly exciting. All the 1s, 2, and 3 seeds advance except for St. John's. Only one real buzzer beater with Maryland beating Colorado State. So now the tournament resumes Thursday night. I will actually be in Houston when the University of Houston plays Purdue Friday night at 9 p.m. That's going to be pretty fun. But that game's in Indy. It's kind of a road game for them, so not the best break for the Cougars. But I actually signed up. Now, I don't know how many of those of you are watching, if you fill out tournament brackets. I don't consider myself any kind of expert. You just hope one will get you through the first weekend, pretty much. But ESPN also does the second chance brackets, where you get to try to fill out the Sweet 16, and you can fill out 25 of those brackets as well. I mean, one of the 25's got to hit, right? Oh, man, that's how you know you're becoming a degenerate, when you're filling out 50 brackets inside of a week. Oh, my gosh. But this is just a reminder of college sports and how it's changing. And if you didn't think college sports had become a business, well, you got a nice reminder today, this week. St. Francis University in Pennsylvania will move from Division I to Division III next year. This is the same St. Francis who made the NCAA tournament, lost to Alabama State in the first round. Between competing for players, losing coaches, and, of course, the transfer portal, the NIL, they just don't think they can compete on that Division I level. They don't think they're going to be competitive. So I've never seen a team voluntarily enter the transfer portal before. But that's where we are now in college sports. So, yeah, I mean, if you like tradition, look somewhere else, because it's done in college sports. I thought conference realignments were bad. Now we're talking division changes. Oh, my gosh. Hey, Harlan Abraham, no expert either. Do you like St. John's? I did not grow up a St. John's fan. I actually grew up a Syracuse fan. I've always liked the color orange more than I've liked red. I think that has something to do with it. But I was just drawn to Syracuse when I was a kid. The only team I really don't like is Kentucky. I didn't like Connecticut during the Jim Calhoun era. I'm fine with them now. But I've never, ever liked Kentucky. I think a part of that is the 1996 NCAA title when Kentucky did beat Syracuse in New Jersey. Wasn't very happy. But when Syracuse left the Big East, went to the ACC, to me, that was betrayal. And at that point is when I became an NC State basketball fan, which I remain to this day. I'm not going to call myself a diehard. I'm not about to break down NC State basketball here. I will say this. I'm very excited about Will Wade, the new head coach. I think and the funny thing is, one of the streets right near NC State that I live right by is Wade Avenue. So now it's like, for fun, we're calling it Will Wade Avenue. So that's pretty fun. Hey, David D., how you doing, my friend? Hope you're having a good night. Hope the week is going well for you. That's right. Hit that thumbs up button. Reminder, we get 15 likes. We will spin the wheel a little later on tonight. Not going to be on overly late. Not going to push it too late because, again, it's going to be an early night for me because I got to be up at 3 in the morning. 3 and out. In this case, it's going to be 3 and up. So that's going to kind of be the situation there. Harlan, like Luke Carnesecca and his many sweaters. He was a really good coach. Yeah. Every time Luke Carnesecca spoke, it sounded like he was crying. He just had a teardrop in his voice, But, yeah, the sweater game, when John Thompson wore the replica of the same sweater in that big showdown, it was number 1 versus number 2. I want to say that was 1985, I want to say, in the Garden, but that went down in the lore of college basketball history. Yeah, I remember Big Monday on ESPN, where there was Syracuse, Providence, Seton Hall, UConn, St. John's, Georgetown, Pittsburgh, BC, Miami. I mean, man, oh, man. When the players actually stayed in school and you built up rivalries, you got to know these players. They weren't one and done situations, And I'm not saying it needs to go back to that, but I am saying that college basketball was a lot more fun when you got to know your players because they weren't one and done. You got to know the other team's players as well. They came into the NBA a little bit more polished. It just created more. And you feel like your guys were your own guys. Let's say Cooper Flagg for Duke, for instance. Let's say the Duke gets to the Final Four but doesn't win the title. He's not coming back for another chance at the NCAA title. There's money to be made. He's going to be the number 1 overall draft pick. So, It is what it is. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. College sports is changing constantly, and I wonder if it's for the better. All right. I think that's, man, I spend more time on college basketball than I thought I would. All right, guys, here's what I think we need to do. I think we need to change the background here from orange to green. Ah, yes, there we go. So we got some stuff to get into tonight, but we all got to do it with a collective chant. You know what the chant is? Let me hear it. Let's talk some New York Jets football. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go through the news, and obviously there is not a ton of news, but there are a few things worth talking about in the news this week. Number one, the immortal Tim Boyle has signed as of 4 o'clock this afternoon with the Tennessee Titans. 30 years old. He has now been with the Packers. What? The Lions. What? The Bears. What? The Jets, the Texans, the Dolphins, the Giants. This makes it 8 teams for Tim Boyle. He averages a team a year. He goes through teams like the Kardashians go through boyfriends. All right. So now in this quarterback room in Nashville, Tennessee, a franchise on the verge of building a beautiful new stadium. Their quarterback room is Will Levis, Brandon Allen, and Tim Boyle. Can they bring Steve McNair back from the dead already? Like, clearly they're out of the Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders discussions with that trio. Oh my gosh. But congratulations to Tim Boyle on getting a job. Way to go. And I want to mention a couple of things about free agency here. So the Jets, as critical as we could be of them that they haven't been spending a ton of money, they still have around $27 million to spend this year. That's not factoring in the money they're going to allocate for the draft. But next year, they've got $97.5 million. That's the 7th highest. And then in 2027, they have $209 million. That is going to be 8th. So despite the big contract hits coming up over the next year or two with Rodgers, with Adams, with Mosley, and so on, the Jets actually are in a pretty good situation to spend money. Of course, a decent amount of that money is going to go towards their own players. David D wants to bring back Jake Locker. Yeah, they said the next Chad Pennington. Not quite. No, he wasn't even the next Billy Volek. Oh my gosh. So with Talanoa Hufanga, now this is one of the safeties that we talked about a couple weeks ago before free agency that might be a fit. Well, he signed with Denver, and according to Channel 9 News in Denver, the Jets swooped in to make an offer very late to try to poach him away from Denver. Darren Muji, decided to get a little bit competitive. But it did not work out. He chooses to honor his commitment to Denver. So it's like, well, if you wanted him, what didn't you do the first time that you were doing after that? Maybe then you would have signed the player. Not that I'm too upset about it. I like Andre Cisco, so I'm not too mad about it, but it would have been nice to have another starting safety. Also, Michael Badgley, the Jets worked the kicker out on Monday. He's 29 years old. So he first signed with Indy as an undrafted free agent back in 2018, went straight to the Chargers, was their main kicker for 3 years. 34 games, made 80% of his field goals. Career long is 59 yards. In 2023, he played 4 games for Detroit, made 86% of his extra points, all 4 of his field goals. But last summer, he suffered a torn hamstring and was placed on season-ending injured reserve. So the Jets worked him out on Monday. It is now Wednesday night, no news. But I'm glad because it's showing that they're willing to bring in a little bit of competition to push Greg Zuerlein. I still think it's possible Greg Zuerlein could get cut in June because, remember, Jets are going to save about $2.5 million if they let Zuerlein go. All right. So that's the end. That's the end of that slide. Yeah, we got through the news super quick this week. Swig of water for the working man and woman. All right. So now let's get into the draft tonight. Now, right now, one interesting note. Did you know that every NFL team apparently has their first round pick? That has not happened since 1993. Things could, and of course, we know things could always change, but the fact that no team has 2 first rounders, very interesting. And when you look at the mock drafts for the Jets, there's really no consensus where they're going. Whether it's Mason Graham, whether it's Ty Warren, whether it's Armand Membu, those three seem to dominate the talks. You might hear from Will Campbell, whose arms magically grew this week. Anybody see this? The scouts were worried that he didn't have long enough arms to play tackle in the NFL. Then magically at his pro day, the arms extended. I don't know what the secret was. Maybe he put some extends on his arms or something. Maybe he put on some of those OJ gloves that didn't fit, so that gave him another inch or so. I don't know what the secret was, but apparently now in the NFL, you can grow arms if you're so inclined. Oh, my gosh. Hey, Sharon McClain signed Nick Folk. I agree. Hey, we talked about kickers not that long ago. With Brandon McManus off the market, I think Nick Folks is as good as anybody. I do. The Titans have signed a kicker. I think they're moving on from Folk. I'd be happy to bring him back. Yep, no, I have no problem with that at all. All right. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to get right into the main event of the night. We'll see how we're doing on time, where we might go. But we've talked in previous shows about safety. We've talked about tight end. We might get back to those before the draft. We still have, counting tonight, 5 more shows before the draft. So I have kind of an idea of what we're going to do each of the next couple of weeks. I'm thinking we're going to break down some different positions that the Jets are going to look at. And I think one of the biggest positions that needs to be addressed, and I think any Jet fan would agree with you, is the wide receiver position. So what I did is I ranked the top 15 wide receivers according to BS, Bartolo Statistics. And we're going to talk about some of these wide receivers. We're going to talk about what they do well, where they have opportunity for improvement, give you a projection on where they might be drafted. And hey, you might agree, you might disagree, but that's the fun of it. So we're doing this kind of like how we did last year. But before we get into the top 15, I've got 5 honorable mentions that I want to talk about first. Now, some of these guys, I will tell you, are in some draft people's top 10s. That's the fun of this, isn't it? So the first 5. The first one is Xavier Restrepo from Miami. Now, there's a number of people who are big fans of his, think he could go in the second round. I've got him around maybe the 4th round. Okay, he's 5'10", 208 pounds. He profiles as a slot wide receiver. He is, I think, along with one other receiver we'll get to later, as I'm trying to think what the right word, polarizing as any receiver prospect in this draft. Now, what he has is a great ability to create separation at the line of scrimmage. He'll find the holes in coverage, and he can adapt the routes on the break to really mess with the defense. Very good with the ball in his hands. He's willing to block if he needs to, but at 5'10", 208 pounds, he's not the most capable blocker. His long speed, though, is not good. And if you're a slot receiver, you need some speed, okay? Recently, he ran a 4.8 40-yard dash. Now, his excuse was he had a hamstring problem. I don't know. Maybe we need to put him in a Philadelphia, alley and have him chase a couple of chickens like Rocky did way back when. But it's not just that. Even if the hamstring was barking at him a little bit, he has shorter arms, which creates a smaller catch radius for quarterbacks to throw to. And if Justin Fields is your quarterback, you're not going to have the most accurate. We're not exactly talking Chad Pennington and Joe Montana accuracy here. All right, so you're not going to see contested catches. It's like you have to get the ball to him in space and then let him do his magic. Sounds like Malachi Corley in a way, okay? He does have talent, but I've just got a round 4 grade on him. Kyle Williams from Washington State. So this is a player who who's only kind of come on my radar kind of recently. 5'10", 190 pounds. 2024 was productive. 70 catches, 1,100 yards, 5th-year senior. He's versatile in the alignment. He's got the home run potential that the Jets lack. Now, he is not what you would call sure-handed. He's prone to drops. He doesn't always catch with his hands, but he can separate deep. He can create big plays. And you know what? You'll take like a Gabe Davis. You'll take a drop here and a 70-yard touchdown on the next drive. He tracks the deep ball very, very well. But again, 5'10", 190 pounds, lacks the frame and strength to make those contested catches. So I've got about a round 4 grade on him as well. I don't know if he's what the Jets need. Harlan, Jets already have a lot of potential slot receivers. Jets need receivers like Mims, ones that could block. Well, block and catch would be great, But I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean Corley, Gibson, Tyler Johnson, the new guy they got from the Rams. I feel like he could do a little bit of both. A little bit of both. From the little bit I've seen of him, yeah, Lazard can play on the outside, but Williams could be a guy to keep an eye on. Not tall enough. Yeah, put it this way: if the Jets drafted him, he better not be their first one. I would not be happy with that. Then we've got Dante Thornton from the Tennessee Volunteers, 6'4", 205 pounds. This is an explosive deep threat, and he can stretch the defense vertically. He's got elite level speed. He could be one of the faster receivers in the NFL. Now, in Tennessee, he played in an offense that's going to raise questions about his route tree and production. He didn't have to do a whole lot in the Tennessee offense. It was like, go long. Okay. He did lead the FBS in 25 yards per reception and 6 touchdowns on just 26 receptions in 2024. He's got a RAS. Yes, I'm bringing back the relative athletic score. This is for you, Joe Douglas. We appreciate it. He has only 65 catches in 4 years between Oregon and Tennessee. So the raw ability is there, but there's very, very little production. And in the NFL, you can't really just be a one-trick pony and last very long. All right, then we go to Evan Stewart. Now, I've got him as a 5th rounder. Pardon me. Yeah, Evan Stewart from Oregon, 6 feet, 175 pounds, very strong hands, good catcher of the ball, can run any route you want him to, can deke defenders. He has quick feet, runs precise routes. The blocking isn't great, and his frame, he can stand to put on a little bit of muscle if he's going to play on the outside. So Evan Stewart, again, a bit of a project, but there is some ability there. And Nick Nash, this is a player who's been pretty popular as of late. I decided to put him in the honorable mentions from San Jose State, 6'2", 203 pounds. He's known for his speed, reliable hands, and slot ability. What he does really well is he reads defenses, so he's very, very smart. He can find those soft spots in coverage. It makes him a good target. So if you're playing against a zone defense, Nick Nash can carve up that zone. But he is a 6-year senior, so he's a little bit older. So that is something to keep in mind. But he'll give you a football IQ, versatility, and production. I could see 5th round, at 5th, maybe early 6th round on Nick Nash. So I do like him. I don't know if he's quite physically gifted enough to be a star at the next level. He can be that 3rd, 4th receiver, maybe. All right, let's get into the top 15. Harlan's keeping his eye on Nash. Yeah. Again, you can, but these are guys, if this is the first receiver we take, I'm not feeling good about it because we know the Jets need multiple wide receivers. Hey, Rusty Spooner. That's right. We do a scouting show, and he appears. That's right. You need a late-round burner for kickoffs, punt returns, and special offensive plays, kind of like Leon Washington. Well, there's a couple of these guys who are good at doing the returning, but you know what? You can get a good returner as an undrafted free agent nowadays. So there's certain things that you can get as a UDFA. You know, if they just have speed and agility, you can find a guy like that. So if they can, great, but I'm not saying it's something you need to take immediately. But some of these guys do offer potential as returners. Let's go to number 15. I've got LeJohntay Wester, not Webster, like I first thought. It's Wester from Colorado University. So he's 5'11", 167 pounds. He was at Florida Atlantic back in 2023. Harlan, he was taken in the 4th out of Florida State. I got you. So he had 150 targets, 107 catches, 1,164 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Then this past year, he transfers to Colorado to play with his brother, and he was even more efficient with the Buffaloes. So he played out of the slot, caught 70 of 88 targets, 880 yards, 10 touchdowns, averaged 7.5 yards per reception. That's 19th in FBS among wide receivers. One thing I like, his drop rate getting better and better. In 2 years, he's lowered his drop rate from 10% to under 4%. I like that. Guys who work to get better to improve their weaknesses. So he's been dynamic. His skill set, I think, will really translate to the NFL. He could return. I got you, Rosie. Yep. So, and this is a player who has some return ability. He's got good agility, and this could translate to the NFL. Now, he has a small catch radius, 5'11", doesn't have the longest arms, So that's always something you got to think about. And his route running needs to be refined. His breaks and turns tend to be more rounded off instead of that quick snap. It's more of a round thing. So he has to become a little bit more agile, maybe a little bit more loose in his lower half in order to run effective routes. Okay. I think LaJohntay Wester could be a 4th-round pick. I like this guy. I do like what I see with LaJohntay Wester. And this is not a guy you'll see on every draft video. But this is one of those under the radar guys who I think could be very, very good. And I've still been very efficient in college and showing signs of improvement. All right, number 14, we're going to go to the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, and we're going to talk about team captain Pat Bryant. 6'3", 205 pounds, 2024 had 54 catches, 984 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Think of Mike Williams. Think of Tim Patrick, that old school vertical threat. So what Bryant will do, he will find ways to get open with those long strides that he has. He has very good body control. He has very good focus on deep balls. He's able to win fade routes, but he knows how to high point the ball, make the catch, and then he can run very well after the catch. And he blocks well too, which is something we could certainly use. What you worry about with Bryant, he's not explosive off the line of scrimmage. It takes him some time to get full speed, so he's not going to separate quickly from defenders. He's got to outrun his opponents, whether it's on a slant, a post, or just a deep ball. And the other thing that worries me, his production actually took a noticeable dip against the better teams in the Big Ten. So I see some raw ability there. I see some very good raw tools, but a few things that worry me a little bit. I've got Pat Bryant ranked number 14. Okay, let's go to number 13. Now, this is a guy who's been in a couple of top 10s. Harlan's thinking Bryant, if he falls 5th or lower, hey, sounds good to me. Number 13 is a guy who's in some top 10 lists. I've got him a little lower, and it's Savion Williams from the TCU Horned Frogs, the first of 2 TCU wide receivers on this list. 6'4", 225 pounds, very good long speed, a little similar to Bryant. He has that long speed, but he is not super explosive. He's not a nuanced route runner. His athletic ability definitely stands out. Running after the catch makes him intriguing, but his hands are a little bit clunky. He's not a natural pass catcher. Sometimes he's catching against his body. That's got to stop. Okay. Now, in the TCU offense, it really wasn't about him. They ran the ball a lot more. But when you look at his intangibles, the height, the weight, the athleticism, he's a very, very intriguing prospect. But you're taking somebody who has not been overly productive in college. You're going with the skill set. And you know what? I feel like as Jet fans, I feel like too many times we've been burned on skill sets, on physical traits. So it does worry me a little bit, but I could see him going at the end of day 2, early day 3. So late round 3, early round 4. All right, let's go to number 12, and it's Ty Felton from the University of Maryland, 6'1", 183 pounds. So what you like about him, he's got that great body type for a versatile wide receiver, somebody who's going to play inside, play outside. When he plays inside, he makes defenders look like fools, okay? He gains leverage. He uses his speed to take advantage of those defensive backs. Here's the stat I like about him. He forces missed tackles. 25 missed tackles this year. That's 4th among wide receivers. In fact, the only 2 outside receivers in that category are Ty Felton and Ted McMillan. Okay? All the other 8 are slot receivers. Felton and McMillan are the only 2 in the top 10 in forced missed tackles this year. I like that stat. But 6'1", 183, he's very wiry. So you're going to have the concerns about him beating press coverage, breaking tackles, competing in contested catch situations, and also, again, as a blocker. Does have a very good RAS, 9.61. This is another guy I see as a day 3, day 4 type of pick. All right, let's go number 11. Tez Johnson from the University of Oregon, 5'10", 160 pounds. I'll tell you what, he's got amazing agility, amazing separation ability. He knows how to work himself open. He has a variety of releases to get open. The yak ability is insane, and he's also a very experienced returner. So if you're looking for that returner, this is a good place to go. But lightweight, he struggles against press coverage. He can win on the perimeter if he has enough space, but against a bigger, stronger cornerback, he's going to have problems getting jammed at the line of scrimmage, and he's not about to block or pass protect for you. But because of the raw speed, the agility, somebody's going to take a chance on him as a deep threat. I see him going in the third round. Rusty says, I hope we can land Higgins from Iowa State, but take care of O-line and defensive Rusty, we know you're going O-line, okay? Green Bean goes tight end. Rusty goes offensive line, death taxes, the 4 guarantees in life. I know you want to trade back, man. I'll get to Jaden Higgins will be a little bit later on our countdown. Yeah, for sure. But yes, he is not in double digits. So yeah, stay tuned for a little breakdown on Mr. Higgins. But yes, I know you want to go O-line. And by the way, you'll definitely want to hang for the trivia tonight. It's going to be NCAA tournament and New York Jets related. Pretty good, huh? Not much as a blocker. What good would he be to running backs? No, not Tez Johnson. You're not getting him for the blocking ability. That's for sure. I know you go trenches first, dude. I get it. All right, and I appreciate the compliment. Number 10 is Alec Ayomanor from Stanford University, 6'1", 210 pounds, great switch ability, very good foot speed, got a nice large catch radius. He has very good coordination. He tracks the ball down very well. 29 contested catches in 2024. That's a very good number. Excellent after the catch. He has great size and speed, so he's very hard to bring down. Blocks very well. So this will give you that nice blocking ability. What he doesn't have, again, I feel like a lot of times I'm mentioning explosiveness. He doesn't consistently create separation. He doesn't move well laterally very well. He can run routes well, but he can be a little more, refined there. And he also had 6 drops in the year 2024. But excellent athletic ability. Had a 9.7 RAS score. I'm thinking round 3 on Ayomanor as well. I know Harlan drops the ball a lot. He'd fit in with the Jets. I know. I get it. You know what, though? Seriously, maybe that's something the coaches think can be taught. Maybe that's something they think can be worked on. Just go to the jugs machines 800 times and just do your thing. There's a lot of things you can't teach. You can't teach accuracy for a quarterback or whatever, but I would think these coaches think, we can teach this guy how to catch. He's already getting open. He's already big. He's already physical. He's just got to catch the ball. What a concept. Yeah. Hey, Assist, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. 6 drops in 2024 was what I counted. All right, number 9. We take a big jump here from 10 to 9. Jack Betch is how you pronounce it. I've heard some people say Beck. It's actually Betch. It's I guess it's a French pronunciation, but also from TCU. I love this kid. Oh my goodness, 6'1", 214 pounds. I call this the Liam Neeson of the wide receiver class. You know why? Because he has a very particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for a quarterback like you. If you throw me the football now, quarterback, we will not have any problems. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you throw it to Garrett Wilson, I will look for you. I will find you. We'll kill you. But seriously, Betch will give you the versatility inside and out. He plays very, very physically. This is one of the toughest wide receivers you will see. Very strong hands, precise route running. He has no fear on the football field. He excels in contested catch situations despite only being 6'1". He has body control, pinpoint focus, strong hands. He secures those difficult grabs. He makes catches. It's like, how did he catch that ball? But because he can play outside and in the slot, he's going to be valuable in all kinds of offensive schemes. He'll track the ball well. He'll fight for yards after the catch. His blocking at this point, it's adequate, could use a little bit of improvement, but it won't be for a lack of effort. And he's not going to give you the most elite speed. He's not the best vertical threat, but he is shifty. He's tough. He's smart. He has a way of making plays. And I know this is a little thing, but the 4th pro that I put on the chart, the MVP of the Senior Bowl. Now, I know it's an exhibition. I know it's a bunch of practices, and then it's a game that's sort of anticlimactic. But it just shows you that he had something to prove, and he went out and he proved that he belongs to be, drafted with the best of the wide receivers in this class. Whoever drafts this kid is going to be very happy that they did. 9.46 RAS, still fine. I think he goes early third round. Jack Betch from TCU, keep your eye on him. Number 8, the name is Bond, Isaiah Bond from the University of Texas. So 5'11", 180 pounds. I've seen him, like PFF has him in their top 5 list, actually. But he will give you elite footwork, and I don't just mean in a straight line. He could juke. He could go this way. He can cut off his routes very quickly. So his short burst is excellent. Some of the best short burst I've seen so far. But he's also an incredible vertical threat. He's been clocked at running 25 miles per hour. That's about the speed Braun Breaker runs the ropes in WWE. Okay? Very reliable hands, excellent catcher of the ball, which that doesn't always go hand in hand, pun intended, with the fastest wide receiver. So he could run and he could catch. The concerns about Bond, he has not been overly productive in college, never put up great numbers either at Alabama or at Texas. And again, he's smaller, he's skinny, doesn't attack the ball. He could use more play strength. So I think it's a situation at 5'11", 180. He might need to put a few pounds of muscle on. Right now, it looks like a speedy slot receiver, possible returner as well, is what we're seeing with Isaiah Bond. Okay. Number 7, I've got Trey Harris from Ole Miss. Okay. Harlan, one thing I'm going to say about the college production, some of these offenses, we got to remember, are run first. Like if you run the veer, you run the wishbone, and you're like that big outside wide receiver, well, your numbers may not look so good. But the question is, how are you doing with the opportunities that you are given? So that's just one thing to keep in mind. It is a concern, but I wouldn't call it a deal breaker for a prospect. So Trey Harris, 6'2", 205 pounds. So he transferred to Ole Miss from Louisiana Tech. This year he had 60 catches, 1,037 yards, 7 touchdowns. This is one of the toughest prospects to evaluate, along with Xavier Restrepo. I've seen him going in the first round. I've seen him going in the 4th round. I'll tell you this, yards per catch, 18.2 this year. Last year, 17.2. Huge catch radius, great length. This is that classic X receiver playing outside. I'd say he's pretty similar to Mike Williams. I could see, I would say that, but I think he's a better catcher of the football, and I'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, there are some similarities. I would say not quite Mike Evans. He's not quite as big as a Mike Evans, but he's more similar to a Mike Williams than a Mike Evans. Very reliable hands, elite at contested catches, uses his size well, controls his body well. This is a big-time red zone threat, which is why I made the background of that slide red, So with the size and strength, he'll get the separation that you want. But he's mostly been a vertical threat in college, going with those vertical patterns, and he can round off his cuts too, especially on comeback routes. So running some sharper routes when he's not just running in a straight line, that is a big thing that Trey Harris has to do. And not a pure blazer in the open field. I would say, though, his catchability, I think, is better than Mike Williams, who did have drop issues throughout his career. And he has 4.5 speed, does Trey Harris. So he could run, not all out, but he could run well enough. 9.19 RAS, not the best that we've seen, but still a good one. So I could see him going round 2, maybe round 3. It just depends if some team falls in love with him and decides to go for him. But there's boom potential, but there is bust potential with Trey Harris. Chris Berligan. How you doing, my man? Holding down the fort in the Midwest, representing Jet fans well as he always does. And hating on the Chicago Bears as he always does. All right, let's go to number 6. Now we're really starting to kick it up a little bit. Number 6, I've got Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. 6'4", 215 pounds. This is your X-wide receiver. So he transferred from Eastern Kentucky to Iowa State. This year had 87 catches, 1,183 yards, 9 touchdowns, second team All Big 12. Very impressive athlete, but he has very good spatial awareness. So what I mean by that is he knows where he is on the field. He knows what the defense is doing. He can beat his own defense very well. It's not just throw the ball high and let him jump up and go catch it. Yes, he could get the contested catches, but he has more than that. He is a very fluid mover for his size. This is not a guy who's just going to run in a straight line, go up and get the ball like some of the other receivers are that we've talked about tonight. But his agility is not quite where you would want it, ideally. So on sharply breaking routes, he will struggle to separate a little bit. Good speed, not the best speed. Yak ability is decent. I think what he needs to really do is get off the line of scrimmage against press coverage better, create that separation as quickly as possible. His RAS score is amazing, 9.92, about the best I've seen. This is a very, very enticing all-around prospect. There are a few worries about him. I know, guys. I think Cole Thompson is not a big Jaden Higgins fan. I believe I saw him on with Jake Asman, as best I remember. But the things that you want to be pros are pros. The cons, you can sort of work with them a little bit. So I see Higgins going in the second round, maybe early third. All right, and then we get to the top 5. So number 5 for me, I'm a big fan of Jalen Royals from Utah State. 6 foot even, 215 pounds. I've seen a few people who have him as their undervalued wide receiver in this class. I know Dom C is incredibly high on him. Royals blew up last year, 1,084 yards, 15 touchdowns in only 13 games. And this year, played in less games, 55 catches, 839 yards, 6 touchdowns. Oh, that was in 7 games. Crazy good. Now, what he really shows the ability to do is adjust in the middle of a route. That's not easy to do. So he is one of those rare receivers who will separate in the middle of the field as well as at the line of scrimmage. He handles press coverage beautifully. He's quick to attack opposing defensive backs. He'll run deep routes, comeback routes. They look super smooth. Very natural catcher of the ball. He's not going to fight the ball in the air. A very savvy route runner. He's got the lower body strength to fight through traffic. Okay. Now his route tree, that could be a little bit more developed. He missed 5 games this year due to injury. Okay. So now, of course, there's injuries and then there's injuries. So with Royals, what was it here? So he had a foot injury and he missed the second half of the season. I don't think they ever really explain exactly what it was. I know that it was a foot injury. But but it's not really affecting his perception of being a prospect in this draft. So that is something that would need to be looked at. But the foot's good, and again, not expected to affect him. I would definitely take a look at him. He profiles as a slot receiver. He can play outside though if you need to. I've got a round 2 grade on this guy. I like him a lot. Number 4 is Matthew Golden from Texas. I'm not as big on him as maybe a few other people are. I've seen some folks who have him ranked as their number 2. He is 5'11", 191 pounds. This year, 58 catches, 987 yards, and 9 touchdowns. I think he's a little bit too similar to Garrett Wilson. You know, his size is okay, but he has a very good combination of speed, explosiveness, and agility that make him very hard to defend in space. He can blow past a defender on a vertical route, but he's very crafty with his route running where he can separate on a cross pattern, right? So, but on the other hand, his catch radius is not very big. I think my biggest worry with Golden, there's a perception, I said this about Malik Neighbors, he takes his foot off the gas if he feels like the route is covered or if he's not involved. That is always a worry for me if a receiver takes a play off. All right. Plus, his hand timing can be poor. That causes drops to happen at times. But in college, he has shown very consistent production. He's been very dependable, and that does go a long way. I'm not saying that I would want him per se, but I expect him to go late round 1, but most likely early round 2. All right. And then there were 3. Let's go to Luther Burden from Missouri. 5'11", 208 pounds. This is one of those guys who's been evaluated to death. Now, it has to be pointed out, Luther Burden dealt with horrible quarterback play at Missouri this year. The starter went out early. The backup was not very good. It may as well have been Tim Boyle. He had 60 catches, 665 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So, yeah, I know taking plays off can be trouble. I completely agree. I'm not interested in players if that is the issue. But Burden has a ton of tools: powerful upper body, strong hands, great length, gets to that top speed very, very quickly. Where he really does his best work is on the underneath option routes. So he has the ability to create space in the short field, and he also has the ability to generate yards after the catch. So you want to use him underneath most of the time, but he can still track the deep ball very, very well. It's get the ball in his hands, and then he does his best work. I would say his yak ability is probably the best of any wide receiver in the class. He's more suited to play the slot, and the run blocking does need to get a little bit better, but he's more than willing to block. He does have some raw ability there. I would also say he could become a little more precise on his route running instead of relying on just his athleticism. I see a little bit of Jericho Cotchery, maybe Golden Tate in him, and I think he's going to be a much better pro player than he is a college player once he's played with a quarterback who can actually get him the football. I think Luther Burden will go late first round, maybe early 2, but I am definitely a Luther Burden fan. All right, there were 2 left. So most of you probably know who number 1 is. So number 2 is also from the Ohio State University. It's Emeka Egbuka. So we all know the Jets like Buckeyes on offense, and that school makes some great wide receivers. You know what I mean? But 6'1", 205 pounds this year, 81 catches, 1,011 yards, and 10 touchdowns. This is a strong physical receiver, can play inside or out. Little bit of a better fit inside, but it just depends on the offense. He's very quick in his release. He fights his way through press coverage, very comfortable working in traffic, and uses these head and body fakes to create the separation. Soft hands, he will win at all 3 levels. He's like Jackson Smith-Njigba with his route runner, a very, very precise route runner, some of the best routes of anybody in this class. And after the catch, he's not going to rely on his speed to create the extra yards. It's about his toughness. When he has the ball in his hands, he's got that running back mentality where he wants to just run somebody over, not deke them out of the way. He's been getting great reviews from NFL teams for the knowledge and leadership that he's shown when they meet with him. So the front offices have been coming out very impressed. He could get a little better at contested catches. This is not what I would call the flashiest player. He isn't necessarily a 10 at everything, but he seems like he's an 8 or 9 in just about everything. His teammates love him. He's a real leader. A lot of people say, as far as a landing spot goes, that the Pittsburgh Steelers would love to have him on their team. So keep that in mind. I don't think this is a top wide receiver. This isn't a Chase or a Jefferson or an A.J. Brown, but this is that 1A or number 2 wide receiver. I definitely think he should go in the first round, in sort of that in the back half of the first round. And finally, number 1 from the University of Arizona is Teteroa McMillan, 6'5", 212 pounds, Drake London-esque, just a more athletic version of him. So in 37 college games, he has accumulated 3,423 yards and 26 touchdowns on 213 catches. This year alone, 84 catches, 1,319 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I'll give you more numbers. 19 contested catches on 31 attempts, forced 29 missed tackles. We said earlier that he and Felton were the 2 outside wide receivers who had forced the most missed tackles in college football. He can play anywhere on the field you want him to. He has played over 100 snaps in the slot and over 350 snaps out wide in each of his 3 years. A very, very skilled route runner, a true hands catcher. Those hands, I think those hands were actually constructed by Elmer's glue. They're that reliable. This is a lethal red zone target, absolutely lethal. He just has a way, again, he knows how to make the ball find him. The ball just has a way of finding those hands. Now, the speed is a little bit of a question mark. He's expected to be running in about the 4.7s. He didn't run at the combine. So he's not going to create natural separation that way. And it takes a little time for him to really accelerate to full speed. But McMillan, I think, will go about top 15-ish, I think in the 10 to 15 range. But there's a good chance that there will be a team desperate enough for a wide receiver. They would take him in the top 10. I think in this class, he's worthy about a 10 to 15 sort of valuation. So there you have it, guys. Those are 20 wide receivers to watch through the draft process. Top 15 plus a couple of honorable mentions as well. So hope everybody enjoyed that. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll do a couple of other positions. We're definitely going to do quarterbacks, and we'll be breaking a bunch of them down. We'll be talking offensive tackles. We will be talking cornerbacks, and we'll spend a week just on various positions as well. I think that's what we'll get an edge rusher. If there's anything new at tight end and safety, we'll do it at that time. Deep down, I kind of want to break down kickers, but I'm not going to really do that. Been telling y'all for years, the Buckeyes are the real deal. Jeremiah Smith is him. Wish we could get McMillan, but we can't afford to get wide receiver in the first this year, unfortunately. I don't know. Can we afford to have Alan Lazard as the starting wide receiver across from Garrett Wilson? Oh, my gosh. Hey, Chris, you joined late. Where did you have Besh? Oh, Jack Beck? I had him at number 9. But believe me, I like him a lot. I like him a lot. I think he's going to go in the 3rd round. 2027, you want to go for Jeremiah Smith? Okay. All right. I'm with it. The problem is we need at least 2 more wide receivers, and we need them now. All right. So there we go. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go ahead. How are we doing on likes here? Looks like we've got, all right, we're doing okay. Got a few likes, but we are a little bit short of our goal. So if you want to spin the wheel, the full wheel a little bit later, got to hit that thumbs up button. But we will spin, actually, just to give you a little tease, why don't we just do this one little gimmick right now? Yeah, let's just do a quick thing. Present. Let's see here. Let's see. Present. There we go. Share screen. There we go. All right. So I'm going to pull up the 1st round pick. This is something we've been doing every single week for the last 4 weeks, where on this wheel, we have the names of pretty much every possible target the Jets could grab with the number 7 pick. But we also have trade up. We have trade down. And remember, the wheel never lies. Okay? So far, we've had, just a recap, we've had Kelvin Banks, the right tackle. We traded up to take Mason Graham. And the last 2 weeks, we landed on Shadur Sanders, and the chat had a collective meltdown at that point. So we'll have to see. So we got 5 more spins on this thing, and this will tell us who we are going to draft number 7 overall. So, guys, let's go ahead and spin the wheel tonight to see who we are going to get. Oh, but first, of course, the Jets pick. I can hear it now. I believe that the pick is in. With the 7th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select. Well, I don't know about the odds of this man falling down to number 7. I think that's next to impossible. But Travis Hunter, who I think for right now we're going to regard him as a quarterback. That's why I didn't talk about him on the show tonight. But there's Travis Hunter. There is 0 chance he gets past Jacksonville. If the Jets are going to get Travis Hunter, they got to trade up for him, and I don't think they're really in a position to do that. So. All right. Well, hey, Travis Hunter. So, like I said, the wheel never lies. All right, guys. So I think it is about that time for a weekly tradition here on the New York Sports WickerMedia YouTube channel. Every week, you know what happens. Every week, I head into the labyrinth of Jets knowledge. I bust open the books. I pull up the websites. I dust off the Encyclopedia Britannica. And I, Watch2K99, challenge you, the most loyal fans of the most loyal fan base in the National Football League. Just how much do you know about your New York Jets? So if you are ready, let's play Jets trivia. All right, guys. So I think everybody knows the rules on how this works. So we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock that I'm going to keep here on my phone. I'm going to ask you a question. We're going to put it on the screen and enter your guesses into the chat, and I will let you know if you are correct or if you're wrong. And if you give an absolutely ridiculous answer, you're going to get one of the buzzers. Rusty, you're pretty dang good too, man. We appreciate you. Yeah, every time Rusty comes by, you know he's going to participate. He's going to bring the energy, and yeah, we definitely appreciate that. We might disagree with his takes once in a while. That can happen, but he's at least reasonable with his takes. Yeah, he's not like that Kurt Rembert idiot who thinks Garrett Wilson's the 45th best wide receiver in the NFL. Kiss my ass, Kurt. All right, so as you all know, I try to make the trivia topics as relevant as possible. And right now, the NCAA tournament is going on. It resumes Thursday night with the Sweet 16. So there are 16 teams left in the tournament. So we're going to tie that into tonight's trivia. Your question tonight goes like this. Of the schools in the NCAA Sweet 16, how many have not had a player drafted by the Jets in the 20th or the 21st, century? So since 2000, two of the schools remaining in the Sweet 16 have not had one of their athletes drafted by the New York Jets. Can you name? I'm not asking for the players, just the schools. All right. How many schools were there? All right. So no bracket pulling here. Yeah, Sweet 16. This is college basketball. So just, if nothing else, how many schools of the 16 have not had a player drafted by the Jets since the year 2000? So it's 21st century. Yeah. And, a lot of time the answer is like a player's name. I want to do something just a little bit different this week. Just to switch it up. Chris doesn't follow college basketball. Well, Chris, that's okay. Name a college. Rusty, Villanova. Villanova did not make the tournament. Yeah, Villanova did not have a good year. One school. Yeah. Yes, we know you're doing. Yeah, but how many schools? That's what we're doing first. So we get the schools on top of that. Great, but I'm just asking for a number to start off. Lee Crevette University. Yeah, that's the school that made everything. Yep, the school that just, Vince Lombardi would have been nothing if he didn't enroll at Lee Crevette University. Rusty goes with 11. That's a few too many, Rusty. Some of the schools are, Michigan, Florida, Duke, Michigan State, even BYU, right? Chris Bradigan asks if Arkansas is one of the schools. Well, Arkansas, I'm afraid not. Arkansas is in the Sweet 16, but it is not correct. I think it was, I was going to say DeMario Davis, but I think that was Arkansas State. Yeah, DeMario went to Arkansas State. Ew, 1 second, hit the wrong button. Who's the draft from Arkansas? Oh, yes, the immortal. Jonathan Marshall in 2021 was from Arkansas. So was another tackle, Nate Garner. 7? No, not 7. It's actually less. Chris is pretty much surrendering on this one. I was hoping this wouldn't be too bad, but all right, I'll give you this. It's 2 schools. Only 2 of the 16 schools. All right. So Purdue did. Dustin Keller went to Purdue. Yeah. So Chris Bradigan says Auburn. Is Auburn one? Auburn is not one of them. There was one player that the Jets drafted in the 21st century, and his name was Jamian Sherwood. That's right. If it wasn't for Jamian Sherwood, Auburn would be a correct answer. If it wasn't for Dustin Keller, Purdue would be a correct answer. It may be a hard question, but you got to admit, it is kind of fun, right? All right, got about a minute left here. Yeah, I think we're going to wind it. Wind it down after this one. I think. Yeah. Next. Yeah, maybe we'll do a quick mock draft. Yeah. You guys want to do a mock draft after this? While Rusty's here and everything like that. Yeah, I think after this we'll do our first mock draft of the year. See how that goes. Rusty goes with Missouri. Oh, well, that's Missouri is there. I'm pretty sure Missouri is there. But the Jets drafted both Brad Smith and Sheldon Richardson from the University of Missouri in the 21st century. Just throwing out college teams. Yeah, okay, I got you. All right, 30 seconds. All right, this one might be a little bit difficult. All right, but there are only two schools. David D goes with Maryland. Lamont Jordan. Lamont Jordan was drafted from Maryland. Had been many Maryland players, but Lamont was one of them. If you guys want to look up the bracket, go ahead. All right, I give in. Look up the bracket. It's cool. I didn't realize this one was going to be that challenging. All right, yeah. Rusty Spooner goes with the University of Arizona. How about Arizona? That's right. Arizona is correct. That is one of them. The last time the Jets drafted a player from the University of Arizona was in 1991. So if they draft Ted McMillan, it'll be the first Arizona player they've drafted in 34 years. How about that? So Arizona is one, and there is one more. And if you've been listening to the show tonight, I've dropped the name of the city numerous times. I practically gave it away in the intro to the show. Not as rusty as we thought he was, huh? All right. I'm going to give you the other one. So Arizona, the other one, the University of Houston. Yep, Houston's in the Sweet 16, and it's the freaking city I'm going to be heading to tomorrow morning, everybody. That's right. I mentioned Houston a bunch of times tonight, and the last time the Jets drafted a player from the University of Houston was back in 1997. So, and by the way, don't worry, it was Chuck Clements, a quarterback who played one game in the NFL. So not as if he was anybody of major franchise significance. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Houston. So yeah, Houston and Arizona. So yeah, that was that was maybe one of the more unique questions that we've had, but I think it was kind of fun. Guys, let's do a quick mock draft. We'll roll through it pretty quickly. And we got a few people left in the chat. Why not? All right, and then and then we'll call it. I think then we'll call it a night. So, all right. So I'm going to try this with the Pro Football Sports Network simulate with the PFN simulator, and I'm going to go on fast. Enter the solo draft. All right, now I'm going to put it on screen. Present. Share screen. And I'm gonna start over here. All right, so restart, confirm, 7 fast. Let's turn on the Jets. So now that we've done some stuff on tight ends, safeties, wide receivers, we have a little better idea of what we're looking at. I think next week, I haven't decided. I think we'll either do quarterback or we'll do right tackle or offensive tackle. All right, so let's pull up the draft. All right, so let's click off and let's see how we're doing. So Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, Cameron Ward, Ahmed Membu, Travis Hunter, and Mason Graham go with the first 6 picks. Not ideal. It's just, I kind of wish that I'm going to follow the chat over here. It was a tough question. Okay. Next week, I'll try to make it a little bit easier. All right. So both offensive linemen are off the board. One quarterback is off the board. Mason Graham, unfortunately, is not available. So, guys, let's see. We've got Ashton Genty, the running back, who we're not going to go near. We could add Will Johnson, a cornerback, to pair with Sauce Gardner. Do we go with the quarterback and take Shador? Or we could just get Ted McMillan? We could take Tyler Warren. Or, I don't know, we could even look at trades. So let's see with the Bears. Well, this is a pretty interesting trade. I bet they'd be moving up for Warren, but they're offering us pick 7. They want to give us pick 10 and pick 39 for 7 and 73. Interesting trade offer. The Panthers want us to move down one spot, and they'll give us pick 57 if they give us 110. Wow. One spot, and you're moving up 53 picks. These trades are pretty good. Buffalo, no, we're not trading with Buffalo. I'm rejecting that right now. And then Cleveland, they'll give us picks 33, 67, and 104 for basically trading out of the first round entirely. Yeah, the first and second in 2026 are very appealing, not going to lie, but for the sake of this exercise, we're not worried about next year. So, man, yeah, I got to say, yeah. So 7 and 73, 10, 39, 10, 57. Yeah, I mean this pick is with the Carolina pick. It's 18 picks later, but it's still a pick in the back of the second round. And again, you're only moving back one spot. We can still take either Warren or McMillan. Yeah, I'd like to get an extra pick in there if I could. I'm going to try to get pick 163 in there. And we were able to get it. All right, so they took Shamar Stewart. Pittsburgh, no, I'm rejecting this trade immediately. Hey, Danger Zone, how you doing? We just started a mock draft. We also did trivia, did a couple other fun things. Yeah, we landed on Travis Hunter. So that's who we're apparently picking come April. All right. So now we have picks 8, 42, 57, 73. Then we got a long wait, 145, 162, 163, 186, and 207. So we're going to have a lot of late picks here. But we're going to have some very early picks as well. So with the number 8 pick, well, let's see. You would take the Pittsburgh trade? You know, in real life, yeah, but for the sake of this, we're just moving down in the draft. So you would trade up for Hunter if he gets the 5? Yeah, I get it. All right. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're not taking the running back. I think it's pretty much Johnson, McMillan, or Warren. From everything I've seen in the draft, we're not big Sanders fans. Yep, there's Matthew Golden. We talked about him. Shalom Walker, he's a rather polarizing player as well. So, guys, I think it's going to be between Johnson, McMillan, or Warren, and I'll add Banks in there as well. So, guys, let me know where you want to go. All right, let's see. Go McMillan. All right, Warren. Looks like Warren's got the advantage on this one. Again, Rusty in the minority. All right, well, we're going to take the best tight end that we can because, hey, Tyler Warren will provide the blocking that we need and also the receiving threat we need. So Tyler Warren, we moved down one spot to get him, and we still moved up 53 picks as well. So I call it a win-win. All right, now we go to the second round, and with pick 42, Pittsburgh still wants to trade with us. They want us to move down 41 picks. Get out of here. The Colts want us to move down 3 picks, and they would give us a 6-rounder next year. Doesn't exactly excite me. I don't know. Maybe I could counter it for 189, something like that, but I'm not overly excited. So there's some very interesting prospects here. Kenneth Grant, very popular defensive tackle, who we will break down in the next couple weeks. From what I hear, a very, very good run stopper if you want to address the defensive tackle position. Xavier Watts, hey, fantastic safety. We've talked about him. Then you have two very well thought of tackles in Ursary and Connerly. Is it Ursary? Yeah, and Josh Connerly. I know Dom loves him. Trey Harris, we talked about him earlier. If we want to go in the wide receiver direction, so yeah, I think we could go Watts. We could go with one of the tackles. We could go Trey Harris, Kenneth Gray. A lot of good options here. Rusty wants to look at offensive tackle. Yeah, if you want me to look at a position, guys, just tell me. Yeah, I'll be happy to do it. Yeah, it's Ursere or Connerly. Yeah, Holland Pierce is a good sleeper if you want to go down in the third round, though. So, okay, let's see. Grant. Sharon wants Xavier Watts. Rusty loves Ursere. What's up, man? Oh, man, this is going to be tight. All right. Well, remember, our next pick is 57, only 15 spots away. So I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to scroll down just a little bit here. Let me try this. Yeah, I'm going to go down a few picks and see like about who might be available, like right around here, right in that area. So there's still time to get Isaiah Bond, Elik Ayamanor. Yeah, Ayamanor. That's it. Azaria Thomas, cornerback. So, yeah, some of these guys I don't know as well. Like the deeper offensive tackles, I got to get into them a little bit more, and we'll do that over the next few weeks. Jaden Higgins is down there. That's pretty good. All right, let's scroll back up a little bit. There we go. That's better. Ursary is no joke. I'm tempted to give this one to Rusty just out of sympathy because we went against him last time. So, all right, you know what? We could use the right tackle. I like him too, but Rusty, I love Xavier Watts. I'm biased. Go Irish. Okay, it's the Notre Dame connection. Embo, the offensive lineman from Purdue. Ooh, boy. I wish I could put the polls up here. Yeah, it looks. Yeah, it's like Watts has two, Grant has two, Ursary has two. I feel like this is the spot where I got to pretty much break the tie. I'm just going to do a quick read up here on each one. Ursary, 3 seasons of left tackle for the Gophers, played his own running scheme. Naturally, a right tackle, excellent size, length, power, 6'6", 331, good quickness and agility, lateral agility, does everything well, but nothing extraordinary. It sounds like the Brickashaw kind of guy. Not as far as the transition goes. Connerly, 6'4", 311, a little bit lower RAS score. Foot speed, redirectability, so he's got a little more speed, executes the blocking on the move. That might be what we need in an RPO situation. Projects best in a zone run-oriented running system. Pad level and coordination, make it easier for him to climb the second level and block linebackers. If we're going to run as much as we are, this might be what we want. Play strength isn't elite yet, but he's gotten stronger as his time at Oregon has progressed. Has long enough arms to stay at tackle, combined with athleticism, gives him the range to thrive outside. His future seems bright tackle. I'm leaning towards Connerly somehow. Oh, Sharon wants Trapillo. Okay. Got it. All right. So a few of us are where's Trapillo in this draft? I know he's down a little ways. 111. Yeah, we have plenty of time to get him. Yeah, we have 42, 57, 73. So we can get Trapillo with 73 easily if that's where we want to go. All right. I feel like I've got to break the tie here because there's like it's Watts, it's Ursary, or it's Connerly. I'm going to take a quick look at the safety room. You know what? There's still a lot of safeties I like. Mabuka, Winston. I love Winston. I'm also a Sanker guy. RJ Mickens is flying up the boards. Like we didn't even talk about him a few weeks ago. I'm going to hope we can get Kevin Winston a little bit later. So you know what I'm going to do? I am going to go ahead and let's see. Harlan, we should get 2 offensive tackles during the trip. We're going to get 1, Harlan. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Either Warren or Mitchell will still be around. Connerly. I got, with the reports that we just read, I like the idea of Connerly. And not only that, I think he's Dom C's favorite tackle prospect. So I do trust him. So I'm going to take Josh Connerly with number 42 overall, the offensive tackle out of Oregon. And the offensive line is now complete. That whole line's complete. Warren plus Connerly. All right, now we get two trade offers. One is with Miami to go down 41 spots. Bite me. And then with the Chargers, they want us to trade 57 and 207 for 86, 125, and a third next year. I'm not going down 29 spots. We'll pass on that. All right. So anybody? Deone Walker just went. Okay, so far we've drafted Warren and Connerly. It might be time. Yeah, I think we'll be looking at wide receiver. We'll be looking at defense here. Defensive tackle, wide receiver, maybe a safety. So Kenneth Grant actually has dropped all the way down to 57. That's pretty crazy. Ayomanor is still there. Rusty wants me to get Jaden Higgins. Is Higgins still on the board? I think it's a little late for that. I think it's a little late. Yep, Higgins went 47 to Arizona, so that dream has died. Sorry about that one, Rust. Yeah, but still plenty of good. See, for me, the fact that they have Restrepo ahead of Royals and Betch, to me, is just absurd. It's absurd. But, we did address tight end and offensive tackle. I want to see who's available on defense at this point. So Grant, we definitely need the run stopper. Yeah, Mabuka, I know him. Kevin Winston, I love Kevin Winston, but we might be able to get him later. Yeah, Landon, I'm not sure we're looking at an edge right now. I feel like a project at edge would make sense. So right now, I'm not quite feeling that one. Guys, any positions that you want me to look at? Any thoughts on where we should go with this pick? I mean, to me, Grant makes sense. Ayomanor makes sense. Or we could get a little bit bold, take an Isaiah Bond or a Besh. Yeah, Jalen Noel, I thought about him, but I'm not sure about Jalen Noel. I had him just outside the honorable mentions. Yeah, Mason Taylor, we just went tight end. I don't see it. I like Kevin Winston a lot, but again, I think we could wait on a safety. Rusty wants to go defensive tackle in the fourth and then linebacker here. You want to go linebacker? Really? Really? All right. I don't know the linebackers all that well yet. Barrett Carter. I mean, is it something we really need? I mean, my thing is, I'm not in the second round. I'm not drafting a project. I'm not drafting a guy who's going to wait in the wings. We need some starters with our first 3 or so picks. So, I'm honestly not feeling linebacker right now. I'm willing to do it with the 5th round or 6th round picks because we got a number of those coming up, though. Oh, shoot. Is the wait a second. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought my feed crapped out, but okay. I want to make sure the draft thing was on the board. We're good. Okay. All right, Besh. I see. Yeah, the UCLA kid is gone as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go back to wide receiver. So Ayomanor, Bond, Jalen Noel, Restrepo, Tez Johnson, Jalen Royals, who I like a lot too. Jack Besh. Looks like Besh has kind of the edge. All right, so here's what we'll do. Royals, Besh, Ayomanor, or Bond. We'll go with one of those 4. Rusty, is Jack Sawyer available? I don't think he is. I can't find the arrows to just move up easily. This is Not being very user-friendly. Mike Green went all the way down to 39. Actually, Sawyer might be available. Let's see where Sawyer is ranked over here. 184 he's ranked. So way, 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 way down. What positions are the three that we're looking for? They're all wide receivers that I put in there. Best modern day Corbett, he could be. Yeah, he's got that toughness. I don't know. I mean, Royals is still there. I mean, I don't know. I like Royals a little bit more just as for pure talent and speed, things like that. I love Besh, but I like I don't know. Yeah, Sawyer's only 184. We could wait forever on him. They do update these rankings, but apparently not quickly enough. Maybe next week when we do a mock, we'll do a different platform. All right, looks like Besh has the edge. So we're going to take him maybe a little high, but we're going to take him at 57. Now we pick at 73. All right, so now we have an opportunity to trade. The Seahawks want us. I might take this. They want us to move down 2 picks, and we're able to move up 49 picks. So let's look at the big board here and see what's available. And I see absolutely no reason to not take that trade at all. I'm going to accept it. There we go. I don't know if I want to take any more trades. We'll be here a little while if we do. Yeah, 75 for 81 and 153. Not bad, but we don't need to. Okay. I think it's about time to address. So after this, we don't have a pick till 137. Okay. So so far we've addressed, it's been all offense. I think it's about time we win defense with this pick. Defensive tackle or safety. Yeah. Harlan, we missed out on the best run stopper. Harlan, who did we miss out on? What defensive tackle is available? Yeah, Harlan, who are you interested in? Shamar Turner, Joshua Farmer, CJ West. I think that was my old history professor. Howard Cross is there. Okay, Jordan Phillips. There's like a million Jordan Phillips, and they're all in the NFL. Oh, Omar Norman Lott. Okay. Ooh, relatively lighter frame, make him susceptible to being overpowered in run defense. No. Oh, Grant. Oh, you want a Grant? You know what? Nobody else in the chat seemed to want him. Yeah, people weren't really talking about Grant. Shamar Turner, I do know that name. Lacks consistency in the run game at times, but effective hand usage and lateral movement make him effective against both the run and pass. At 6'3", 290, is this what we want? I don't know. Ugh, I feel like I got to go safety. Guys, I got to be real. I'll look at CJ West. I like the idea of Kevin Winston. Oh, this is pretty good. Nose tackle, excellent hand accuracy, block shedding abilities, creates leverage on passing downs, plugging gaps, promising rotational defensive lineman. 6'1", 316, 9.15 RAS score. Well, he's a nose tackle. Will he work in the 4-3 defense, If you want to go CJ, I'll do it. But, I mean, the guy I'm kind of stuck on here is I'm looking at Winston or even Makuba, one of the two safeties. So, yeah, I like Makuba a lot. I like Winston a lot. Yeah, tools to thrive in the NFL for the next decade. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I feel like we're going to start to lose out on the safeties like Bowman, Sanker. I mean, Reed, they're fine. Then eventually we're talking about R.J. Mickens, Malachi Moore. Yeah, I feel like it's going to really fall off here on the safety guys. I think I'm leaning Winston on this one, and hopefully we can get CJ or somebody like that with 137. So. Yeah, I got to make the call on this one. I'm taking Kevin Winston. I just like him that much. I'm watching. Oh, one pick. The freaking Ravens do it to us. Oh, man, one more pick. He would have been ours. Oh, man, isn't that the way it goes? The damn Ravens. Raven fans still laughing at us. First Brandon Stevens and now CJ West. Yeah. All right. Well, I know a lot of people love Ozzie Trapillo, but we already did draft Connerly, a tackle. All of a sudden, I'm kind of second guessing that move. But we got 137, 145, 162, and 163. So we're going to be picking quickly and picking Charles Grant there too. Yep, Nickens is there as well. Yeah, Charles Grant is flying up the boards. Now, 3 of the defensive tackles are still there. So Shamar Turner, yeah, we looked at him. Howard Cross, 6'1", 285. If the weight doesn't start with a if the weight doesn't start with a 3, I'm about out. Philip Swallow will certainly need a multi-year runway before becoming a difference maker in the NFL. Oh, I don't like that. In a few years' time, the run defense could be anchored by a world beater. No, this is for a team that's already playing really well. We don't have the time. Yeah. I think we still got to look at defensive tackle just a little more. How about this guy Caldwell? 6'2", 332. Immeasurably wide base to thwart the efforts of double teams. Aggressive nature to cut off reach blockers makes him effective against wide zone and downhill runs. That's pretty good. And these guys are all pretty close. I mean, Turner's different, but again, he doesn't seem like the kind of player that we really want. Wait till Stackhouse, he says. He's a stack house, 242. Oh, my God. That's way down. That Caldwell guy doesn't sound too bad. Chris is insistent on Ozzie. You know what? I would take the chance on that. Yeah, I know everybody loves him. All right, I'll pick up. Again, I will say, though, Charles Grant, don't overlook him. I'm not just saying that because he went to William and Mary and I used to live near there. All right, I'm going with Ozzie. All right, and the Patriots take Malachi. All right, so there we go. So 145, our next pick is 162, and then 163 right in a row. I think with that pick, we could go maybe say quarterback, get another tight end or another wide receiver. Maybe even take a project at cornerback or at edge. A lot of places we could go there. Stackhouse is humongous. Let's see if there's a scouting report on Mr. Stackhouse. Let's see here. Nazir Stackhouse, 6'3", 327. Okay. Yeah, all right. We can, he's ranked 242. We still have 3. Yeah, we still have, we can take him with our last pick. So, all right. I'll make Stackhouse the last pick for you, okay? I'll do that for you. Because we don't need to take him now. All right. So as far as 140, so we have 4 picks left here. I think it's 4. 145, 162, 163, and 207. Rusty, go get Edge and Jack Sawyer. Again, we could take those players in a little bit. Guys, Rusty is really standing out. So if there's a position you'd like me to look at, let me know. Your vote matters here. Oh, there's Kyle Williams. Anybody want to look at quarterback? I think McCord's available. Yeah, McCord's available. Riley Leonard is there to be had. Curtis Rourke is there. Cornerbacks, I'm not going to know the names, but not very highly ranked. Jack Kaiser and Teddy Buchanan are available at linebacker. Now, if you want to go with a linebacker, that's not a bad idea to get one of those two. I would be against that. Offensive guard, I bet Miles Frazier is available. Yep, Frazier's there. Yep. Chris is thinking go back to wide receiver, get Kyle Williams. Oh, there's Jackson Hawes. I know a lot of people love him, but you can get him with your last pick. Nick Nash, Kyle Williams. Nobody wants to. All right. All right. Well, again, we're picking in 17 picks. Linebacker would be needed. Okay. Sawyer was at 184. All right. I think we got to consider that. It looks like one of the linebackers would go first. I'm thinking linebacker, and then we go for the edge. Nash Kaiser too. Yeah, I do like Kaiser. You know what they say when Kaiser's playing well, right? He's on a roll. Anyway. All right. But seriously, Demetrius Knight. Ooh, concern overall. Okay, I thought it said that concerns about his maturity. That worried me. Jeffrey Bassa from Oregon has said diagnosing place. Kaiser, outstanding coverage linebacker. I like that. Zone drops are elite. Great closing speed, downhill linebacker, good on-field athlete, but hasn't shown the ability to cover sidelines. Well, I mean, we have Sherwood, so I'm not too worried about that. Makes his tackles, that's for sure. And Teddy Buchanan, I think, is an amazing tackler. Yeah, 9.62. I think at this point, I got to say, it sounds like we're pretty big on Sawyer. So I'm going to go with Sawyer right here. Yep, we did. I think we're going to take Sawyer right now, and then we're going to go for linebacker with 162 or 163. There are players with higher athletic ceilings. As technical know-how, football instincts, physicality, and the level of effort, speed and bend could limit him. 6'4", 260. It's a little bit light. Safe thing. All right, I'll take Sawyer. All right, I think the linebackers, yep, Kaiser and Buchanan made it, so they are available if we want to go there. Let's see. There we go. Kyle Williams. All right, so I think with this one, we got to go linebacker or we got to go defensive tackle. Actually, with these next two picks, I think we need to go linebacker and defensive tackle. We've really neglected them. So, all right, anybody have any thoughts on the defensive? We're going to wait till the big guy, but yeah, Elijah Roberts, 6'3", 285, raw and inconsistent. No. Simeon Barrow from Miami, 6'3", 290. That's a lot of stats, a lot of numbers. All right. Aeneas Peebles. That's not a very inspiring name. 6', 282. Oh my God, these guys. Cam Jackson, 6'6", 328. Not explosive. Solid run defender. All right. I think we're going to go linebacker here. And I think, let's see, it's going to be Kaiser or it's going to be Buchanan. I think I'm going to go with Buchanan. I think, yeah, high motor linebacker, intelligent, proficient at tackling. I mean, Kaiser's the same way, but with Sherwood, I mean, we don't need I want a good compliment. Excels in run defense. I think that's kind of what we're looking for. I'm going to take Teddy Buchanan here at right tackle. At linebacker, excuse me. All right, so we got 163, then we've got 207. All right, so with the last pick, we're going to go with the defensive tackle. So in the meantime, I'm just pretty much looking for best player available. Leonard went, Grant went, did McCord go also? No, I don't think he did. Yeah, McCord's still on the board. So we could finish this draft with Kyle McCord and finish it off with the defensive tackle. Let's check wide receiver, though. Kyle Williams still on the board. Nick Nash on the board. Tight end, we still got Mitchell Evans from Notre Dame, Luke Lachey, Jackson Hawes, if you want to add a blocking tight end. Miles Frazier, fantastic interior offensive line prospect. 9.58 RAS. Oh, let me pull that back up. Wide body frame, long limbs, strong play strength. Times to snap well. Lateral agility is below average. Harlan's taking McCord. Chris wants to go kicker. Yeah, you know what? If we had another 6-round pick, if we hadn't traded that 6-round pick, I think I would go with it. But I'm just going to go with, I don't trust the kicking rankings here. If you guys know me, you know that my guy is, let's see, is my guy up here? Ben Salzman. Where'd he go? Ryan Fitzgerald is my guy, and he's ranked all the way down at 554. That's some bullshit. All right, so I don't really trust these kicker rankings, but I like him. Stackhouse is plug and play. Otherwise, it is Lachey. I feel like we should draft another quarterback at this point. Yeah, I mean, Fields, Taylor, Travis. I think round 5, it's worth at least taking a chance. So, unless they really believe in, you know what? Let's just say they believe in Travis. He's supposed to be ready to go. I'm going to give Travis a shot. All right. Anybody a cornerback that we care about? Yeah, I don't know the names well enough yet. Safety. No, I think we got to go back offense here. I'm just going to take one more wide receiver. I think I want to. Do I want to take Williams or do I want to go tight end? We got Besh. We got Warren. I think we need to take another wide receiver to complement Besh. So I want to get kind of like a receiver. What was Williams? 5'10", 190. No, we need a little bit of a bigger wide receiver if we can get any of these guys left. Wester, I think, was let me go back to Wester. What did I say his size was? I think he was pretty big. 5'11", 167? No. Yeah, I'd be looking for an X wide receiver in this spot, and we really don't have that. I mean, maybe Nick Nash. Maybe Nick Nash in the spot would make some sense. Yeah, I just feel like we've come up short at wide receiver just getting Besh. I feel like we needed one more player, but he is 6'1", 214. He can play either way, I guess. It's just, it's not perfect, but it would still work. Okay. We gotta settle this. I still don't trust Jeremy Ruckert or Stone Smart. Feel like I want to add Mitchell Evans. Maybe. Chris and Pat Bryant. I think Bryant already got drafted. Yeah, Bryant's definitely gone now. Yeah, Ty Feldman, 125. Who else? Dante Thornton went 112. Yeah, Pat Bryant went 110. Carolina. So he's been gone a long time. Yeah, we're down to 163. Yeah, so he's not available. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and take the developmental quarterback. Take a chance. You never know. If it doesn't work out, hey, you've only used a 5th-round pick. And now we'll finish it off at defensive tackle. I was just not impressed with these middle of the defensive tackle guys. This wasn't. All right, so just for you, Rusty, there's Nazir Stackhouse. Can't say I'm in love with the draft. We did make a good trade there, but let's see. We did pick up. I think we picked up another. Yeah, what was the trade? We got the 7 and the 8. Right. We traded 7 and 1. We traded the pick that became Pat Bryant, ironically, for 857 and 163. And yeah, we did some wheeling and dealing for sure. All right. So Tyler Warren gives us the number 1 tight end that we absolutely need. Josh Connerly will slot in at right tackle. Jack Besh gives us a very, very good wide receiver. Kevin Winston, I think, will be a star at the safety position for years. Ozzie Trapillo, another offensive tackle. So we really did draft that position in this draft. It feels a little weird. In retrospect, maybe we should have gone defensive tackle there. Maybe. 145, Jack Sawyer gives us another edge rusher to plug in. Teddy Buchanan, excellent linebacker, great tackling ability. Colin McCord, the developmental quarterback. And Nazir Stackhouse can be that run stuffer that can rotate in that defensive line room. So there we go. Let's stop sharing. There we go. Bring myself back up. There it is. All right. So that was our first mock draft. We'll do more of these as the weeks go on. And hey, the more we learn, I guess the better we'll get. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I didn't know that comment was still up there. All right, everybody. I'm going to call it a night because I need to finish up packing, and I've got to get to bed early because I got to be awake at 3 in the morning. So hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I appreciate everybody's support as we've eclipsed 1,000 followers. It's a good feeling. So enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you soon with more content from you know where. You all know where it's from, right? The Wicker Chair. Have a good night, everybody. Talk to you later.